Hi, I'm Rob Cosman. Welcome to my shop. In this video, we're going to cover resawing wood with your bandsaw. And what's going to make it unique, I've got a piece of 40-year-old Cocobolo, very expensive, and I cannot wait to see what's inside it. If that turns your crank, stay with us. We'll check it out together. I'm Rob Cosman, and welcome to my shop. We make it our job to help take your woodworking to the next level. If you're new to our channel, make sure you subscribe and hit the notification bell, which will alert you whenever we release a new video. Anytime we use a new tool or technique, we'll leave a description down below so that make it easier for you to find. All right, let's get back to work. If you're not familiar with Cocobolo, it's a South American hardwood. We would call it an exotic or tropical hardwood, very dense, has an incredible smell and beautiful color. Now I got to wear a mask when I mill it because the dust really gets to me. But what I'm looking for is stock for making handles, and this is one that's in the works. But you can see all the wild colors, and this isn't even finished. Here's a marking gauge that I make out of it, and you just see those beautiful red tones. Gorgeous stuff. Now it's hard, as I mentioned, so I need to have a good sharp bandsaw. I'm also going to modify my fence to give me a little more reference, and I'm trying to decide which is going to give me the best look. I don't want it to be straight grained, so if we cut it this way, then most of our pieces are going to look like that. Probably going to get a little better color going like this, but we won't know until we actually cut into it. So what we'll do is we'll take a slice, and if it's not what we want, we'll turn it around and go the other way. And the sides look pretty straight. I don't want to have to surface any of this if I can avoid it, simply because of the cost of the stuff. So that's nice and straight. So that'll lay up against the fence fine. I want to see if that's square. Wow, that's really close too. So we should be able to make our first pass with this up against the fence and slice that right through. So the only thing to do now is to just raise our fence a little bit. And I could get away with this, but it's nice to have a little more height. So I'm going to use some 1-inch MDF. We use a lot of 1-inch MDF in our shop making benches. And I always save the offcuts because for things like fences, it's fantastic. And I'll make that, we'll go 5 inches. Get a couple of clamps to hold it in place. I use these Robertson screws. And what's nice about these, they've got a really coarse thread, which is really good for particle board, MDF, and you'll notice that it's also self-drilling. So instead of having to go in and pre-drill everything, you just use these and they work fantastically. Let me bring this over here so I can get a little closer. Now, my blade is new, so I know it's nice and sharp, especially cutting exotics. If your blade starts to dull on one side or the other, the blade's going to want to wander. New blades today are made precise enough that you should be able to just have your fence parallel to your blade. Now that's going to be hard to do, but typically you can trust your miter slot. So I've got this measuring 6 inches on this end, 6 inches on that end, so I should be fine. Shouldn't have to worry about it veering off one way or the other. And I'm using a 1/2 inch blade, and it looks like it's 3 teeth per inch. 1, 2, 3. So the nice thing about that is it'll rip really well. There's lots of room in between each tooth and this gullet to carry out the sawdust. Now these guides aren't terribly common, but I like them because the closer your guides are to the actual workpiece, the less wandering or twisting the blade's going to be able to do. That is designed to hold the blade and prevent it from doing that in the wood. So it has the same setup underneath, only the steel guides are pointing up like this, so you can really get it nice and close to your workpiece. And I've got good dust collection on this, but like I said, Cocobolo dust for some people is deadly. So I've got to wear a respirator when I do this, not just a dust mask. Now I've got to make sure I can clear this through the entire cut, so I gotta raise this up a little more. All right, we'll turn the dust collector on. Fire up the bandsaw. And we're gonna make this first cut, see what it looks like. We may change it or continue. Now, I was going particularly slow just to prevent that blade from wandering. But even though I was, you can see that was not a very straight cut. So this stuff is going to be a little more problematic than I was hoping. And I actually forgot to set that blade. I should have had it just a little bit better than 1 inch. Fortunately, I did leave it bigger than 1 inch because I need a full 1 inch for our saw handles. Let's just clean that off and see what it looks like. Now my saw templates are plexiglass, so I can actually see through when I do this. This is kind of plain Jane, although it does have some nice color when it's finished out. We'll take a look at it and see if we can get something better going the other direction. I don't think we're going to get anything better slicing it off over here. And we need to have the grains running parallel to this narrow part of the saw. So if I can space it like this so we can get two or nest them nicely, we get much better yield. That's why I'm hesitant to take another to take a pass off this way. Maybe what we'll do is we'll just run that over the jointer and see what it looks like. By the way, I installed a bird segmented cutter head in this jointer. These are carbide. They've got 4 sharp edges. So when they're dull, you simply loosen that center screw, rotate their numbers so that you know which one you're on. If you nick one, you just simply have to go in and rotate 3 different cutters and you're back in business. Best thing that's ever happened to a jointer. Because of the cost of this, I'm taking light passes instead of trying to get it all with one heavy one. I don't want to waste any more than necessary. I think I'll take one more because you can see how the blade has veered off and this has got a rough surface. Yeah, just going to take another one. I'm actually going to make it a little deeper. Now the advantage of resawing on your bandsaw is less waste and greater capacity than trying to do it on the table saw. Of course, that's only going to work if you can get a nice straight cut. That did veer off a little bit there, but not much. Starting to get some purples down in here. That'll be all right. Now I'm going to make this next pass even slower, and here's the idea. If there's any dulling of the blade, or if the set is changed a little bit on one side or the other, if harder you push, the faster you try to cut, the more it's going to want to go off on that path of least resistance. So instead of having to change the blade, I'm just going to try a much slower cut, and I think I can get away with having it come out straighter. Now we're starting to get into some nice color. You can see those purples coming out. So when we lay out for our saw, we'll try to get a little bit of that in the part of the saw, of each saw, whether it's on the bottom or the top. You just want to see how bad that's run off. All right, so that's out. That's about 1/16 of an inch, which means, and because that's where all the nice color is, I'm gonna, oh actually, you know what, they got a check right there. There's a check that runs to right about there, so I'm not gonna be able to use that anyway. So I'm not gonna bother joining again, because there's nothing in here worth saving, or that I can save. This is getting better the farther in we get. Now, if you're going to do a lot of resawing, you may want to invest in a wider blade. I don't know how much of an advantage that is. It's a lot of extra setup. I prefer to use that 1/2 inch. I get what I want, and I can use it for many things. But sharp is the key, and that's what's going to keep it from wandering. And that's a pretty smooth finish. So if you've got a really rough finish, then your blade's not cutting very evenly. But when it comes out smooth like that, then you don't have a whole lot of set, or more set on one side than the other. Farther into that block we cut, the more color we started to get. I'm just going to put some lacquer thinner on here and see what it looks like. This is really pretty. Now I picked this hunk of hunk of Cocobolo up from Exotic Wood in Burlington, Ontario. My friend Mel is always finding stuff like this and telling me about it. So I trade all my money for pretty wood. But if you got a bandsaw and you're patient, you can utilize stuff like this. You can even cut your own logs and find some great wood. But that's going to make some really pretty saw handles. If you enjoy my method of work and like my style of teaching, click on any one of these videos to help take your woodworking to the next level. Now, I've always said, better tools make the job so much easier. If you click on the icon with the plane and the chisel, it'll take you to our website, introduce you to all of our tools that we actually manufacture right here, as well as our workshops, both in person and online. Good luck.